Welcome to our living room and functional human design.
My name's Jess.
And I'm Reid.
And hi.
It all started 23 years ago? 24,
22.
25, 26. Where are we now?
We met in 2003, so that would be 22 years ago.
Yep.
And we were both brand new evangelical Christians, which is how we ended up with 5 kids. I'm a retired breeder.
And I'm a retired patriarch.
Yay. Yay for retirement.
Right?
So we were married for 19 years and I deconverted about 10 years into our relationship, but didn't see...
I'm still deconverting.
Yeah, didn't see the seeds of patriarchy and misogyny woven in. And in the middle of that, we had some really difficult times, like a hurricane and our son being paralyzed. And we've overcome things that I don't think anyone should have to experience.
We wouldn't wish it on anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
And yet I don't know if we've arrived, but we're still alive. And
we figured out how to have peace with our family where we are now. Yeah. And I know that's what a lot of people are looking for. And that, for me, it felt impossible to find.
Right. It's what we were looking for. Mm-hmm. And even though we're divorced, we coexist. 4 of our 5 kids are still at home. Our oldest daughter is about to have a baby. So, hey, Grandpa.
Crazy. We're young for being grandparents.
Kinda.
It's just an extension of our crazy life. How about we skip ahead? We did have a lot of kids, and then they started growing up, and then
all the poo hit the fan.
Yeah. The shitstorm of shitstorms.
Yeah, it was brutal. And basically I had already waged war against poverty, and I thought we were doing it as a team. And about 2 years into that journey, I looked over and I was like, hey, I think it's you. And
I was the chaos, and I didn't realize I was the chaos.
Yeah.
So I was angry to be found out and to realize I was the chaos at the same time. You can imagine that was a lot.
And that took a solid 4.5 years. It wasn't until this year that I finally was like, oh, he's really getting it. I have been doing trauma work for 25 years. That has been my entire career. The lifeblood of who I am is overcoming myself and then helping other people overcome. But when I was introduced to human design, I was immediately angry because I'm a manifesting generator, and being told to respond really pissed me off. We were living apart, but we were neighbors. And I was like, you got to check this thing out because it actually answers some of my questions. And I went on an experiment with myself. And
I began an experiment. I think you were a year into it already before I really dove into it and chose to experiment with it.
Right.
Now, at that time, I was operating under a design that I do not believe was me. And part of my story is that I was born, my mother was homeless. So it was hard to know when I was exactly born. I had a made up birth certificate until I actually had a real birth certificate. So there was a lot of
17 years later.
17 years later. So there was this, we had to play with some ideas. And it wasn't until recent that I discovered more exactly who I am, what best fits the type of design that I am. But in that process...
But the entire time you were a manifester. And that was what really made sense to me, because as a manifesting generator, my milkshake brings everything to the yard.
Right.
And you felt like the safest person I had ever experienced. And there is something about our auras that when we interact with each other, it's profound. And that's truly... that to me is the point of this channel and what we're doing, is that while I'm not an expert at anything besides myself and my family, I understand that this has changed our lives so profoundly and has given us like a blueprint and a map. But yet human design in and of itself kind of lacks some functionality. And I
it lacks
it reminds me of the Bible.
it lacks a practical application.
Yes.
It's just to know who we are in our shadows is one thing. It's another thing to actually understand how our auras interact, and we'll get into that. But how we actually not just overcome, but how we actually step into who we are,
right,
without the same exact tapes playing over and over again,
right,
that get between us and the people we love.
We got to pick up on the Bible thing though, because that
Yeah.
shit's funny.
Right?
There are many, many books in the world that are inspired or channeled or brought about in a way that it's just divine knowledge. But then as they are written, we all write through our unique perspectives. And that was actually the question that caused me to deconvert from Christianity was, if you have the Holy Spirit and Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John have the Holy Spirit and I have the Holy Spirit, what makes your Holy Spirit better than mine?
Yeah.
What and that question just deeply resonated with me. And so when I look at things like human design, I am so incredibly grateful for Ra and his experience in bringing human design to the world. And we all speak through our own conditioning. Just like Constantine and his group of homies that edited the Bible, that tweaked so many things, just like when we get downloads, we interpret them through the language of our conditioning and our experience. And what makes life so profound is when we have multiple people looking at the same things through the lens of different experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been playing with and looking at things like human design for 25 years. And it wasn't until my experiment, and now spending like 4.5, 5 years playing with it, do I have a grasp of understanding that is unique to me and my experience, while building on the profound knowledge that Ra brought to the world, because I don't have the desire to synthesize 8 different modalities into one, and yet he did.
Mm-hmm.
And truly within human design, it was the genetics and that really, really called out to me, because when I laid out all of my family charts, like a family chart tree, it was profound to see how we could complete our agreement that we had made 22 years ago. And that was to break generational cycles and live different.
And in that process of you playing with these perspectives, understanding complex trauma with your past and bringing that into human design and making it functional human design in the truest sense. Like for me, it's been the truest thing that I've known, that I can fall back on through the most horrific things, like having to let go of a business that I've poured myself into, that I've done solo, and realize that I've done solo because I haven't understood my design. And because of really trusting you with this process, I'm here today. So I'm like really grateful for functional human design because of what it's done for a family, because of what it's done to create peace between us.
Between us and with our kids. Yeah. Because in our household, you're a manifester.
Yep.
I'm a manifesting generator. When we got married, I also had a daughter who was a manifesting generator as well. And then we had a projector.
Yeah.
And then a generator. And then a manifester. And then another projector. And so our household is this crazy mess of different energies. It occurred to me last night that in this big old house, there's only 2 of us who are sacral beings. Like we are outnumbered by manifestors and projectors. Yep. And that is kind of unusual considering Generator types are 70% of humanity, but that means I've had to really learn how to slow down and contain myself in ways that are healthy for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So, welcome to Functional Human Design. I hope you join us on this journey.
Welcome to our living room. Join us.
Gangly and awkward.
In
Look at
school.
me with my T-Rex arms.
Right? Join us in school.